Okay, this is page 24. This is in your Tuesday notes. Okay, but I'm going to go through this with you. We talked about exterior angles. The definition of exterior angles are angles that are on the outside of either the parallel lines or outside of a shape. This shape is a triangle. This exterior angle is on the outside of the triangle. To find, and I put an asterisk here, to find the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle, or really an exterior angle of a triangle, you add the two opposite interior angles together, okay? So opposite interior, first of all, interior are the angles that are on the inside. Opposite interior are the angles that are not directly beside it, but on the other side of the exterior angle. So not this angle that's right here that's directly beside it, which is adjacent, but the other two interior angles. These angles are on the opposite side of the exterior angle. So when you add these two angles together, that gives you the measurement of the exterior angle. So 50 plus 50, which is what I showed here, is 100. So the exterior angle is 100 degrees. This example here, do the same thing. To find the measurement of this angle right here, I add the two opposite interior angles. That's these two angles right here. When I add them together, that gives me the measurement of the exterior angle. Questions about that? The last one, I'll do the same thing. To find the measure of this exterior angle here, I'm going to add the two opposite interior angles. So that's 70 plus 40. That gives me 110. So this measurement here is 110. Questions about exterior angles, which is also explained in the video that I created on Tuesday. I'm going to pause for the calls. All right. This is also part of page 24. I asked you to try these problems, and these are the answers here. And what we did here to find this exterior angle is that we added the two opposite interior angles together. So that's going to be 80 and 25. So when you add 80 and 25, that gives you 105. So the exterior angle is 105. Number two, this exterior angle here, to find the measure of this exterior angle, you add the two opposite interior angles. These angles are the opposite interior angles. So that's 95 plus 35 or 35 plus 95, and that gives you 30 degrees. So the measurement of this exterior angle is 30 degrees. Questions, comments, or concerns about exterior angles? Okay. In Tuesday's video, I also went over, let me do the sheet from our class. I also went over these four problems here, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And these are the answers from that. Okay, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Please make sure that you watch that video if you have not done so already. I am now going to work on 25 through 28. I am now going to work on 25 through 28. Okay, so let me open up my composition notebook. Please make sure, guys, let me pause this real quickly. Okay, zoom in just a little bit more so you can see it a little bit better. All right, we have these two angles here, okay? These two angles are on this side of the transversal. And what we know about these interior angles is that this forms a straight line here. this forms a straight line, which is 180 degrees. So these two angles right here, if we add them together, that would give us 180 degrees. But there's nothing right here. However, this angle here and this angle here are alternate interior angles. So they are the same. So since this is the same as this, these two measures are the same, and these two angles right here make 180 degrees, then these two angles right here are also make 180 degrees. So these two angles right here are supplementary. That means when I add this to this, I can set it equal to 180 because they would add up to 180 degrees. So that's what I'm going to do. Anytime I see two angles, I see parallel lines cut by transversal, and the two angles are like this, they're right in front of each other, and they look exactly like this. These are supplementary angles. The same as if they were on this side. These two angles right here are also supplementary. And even if I look at 26, these two angles right here are supplementary. These two angles right here would be supplementary. Okay. So for 25, when I write this, when I try to solve for x, I can say this expression plus this expression is equal to 180 degrees. So I have x plus 96 plus x plus 96 is equal to 180. Questions about that so far? I'll slide this so you can see the diagram. These two angles are supplementary. So this angle here plus this angle here is equal to 180 degrees. Now we can solve for x. So we're using the same steps that we wrote in our notes at the beginning of the unit on solving equations. That is, distributive property is first. We don't have distributive property. Combining like terms is second. So we're going to combine like terms. On this side of the equal sign, we can combine 1x plus 1x. What's 1x plus 1x? Anybody? Very good. It is 2x. Okay, good job, babe. So this is gone. Now we are going to add 96 plus 96. What is 96, guys, plus 96? And don't forget, you can use your calculator out to the side. You can, very good. It is 192. So we got plus 192 here. Good job, babe. Bring down your equal sign. Bring down your 180. Excellent. Okay, so we're solving for x here to get x by itself. Which of these do we get rid of first? Do we get rid of the 2 or do we get rid of the positive 192? Which one do we get rid of first? Anybody? We get rid of the 192. Good job, sweetie. So to get rid of the positive 192, hey, Yasmin, how you doing? I didn't even see you, babe. We're going to subtract 192 on both sides. Okay. So when we subtract 192 on both sides, this is going to give me 2x here. Write down the equal sign. What is 180 minus 192? It's going to be a negative, but it's going to be a negative what? Anybody? Madison, do you know, babe? Oh, bless you. Look like you sneezed. Do you know, sweetie? Okay. All right. Negative 12. Lastly, we're going to divide both sides. To get rid of this 2, we're going to divide both sides by 2. And that gives us x is equal to a negative 6. Any questions about that? Okay, good people, we're going to do 26. Look at the diagram for 26. here. Again, these two angles right here are supplementary. They're supplementary angles. So that means I can add these two angles together and they are going to equal 180 degrees. Any 25, -6. 25 was -6. You're welcome, babe. Okay. So these two angles are supplementary. So I'm going to add these two expressions together and set it equal to 180 degrees, just like I did in 25. So this first expression is 20x plus 5. So I'm going to write that here. 20x plus 5 plus the other angle, which is 24 minus 1, 24x, sorry, 24x minus 1 is equal to 180 degrees because they are supplementary. Okay? So now, remember we're using our steps for solving equations. Distributive property comes first. We don't have distributive property. The second step is to combine like terms. So we are going to combine the terms that are alike, the 20x plus the 24x. 20x plus 24x is 44x. We can also combine the positive 5 with a minus or -1, which gives us a positive 4. Bring down the equal sign and bring down the 180. Are there any questions there? Is everybody okay so far? I don't see any hand raises and I don't see any questions in the chat. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Here, in order to get x by itself, I'm going to get rid of the 4 first. This is a positive 4 or a plus 4. So the inverse of adding 4 is to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay. When I subtract 4 on this side, this is gone, and I'm left with 44x. Bring down my equal sign. When I subtract 4 on this side, I'm left with 176. Lastly, to isolate the variable x, I'm going to get rid of that 44. 44 is attached to x by multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by 44. Okay. When I divide both sides by 44, I get 44 divided by 44 is 1, so that's 1x or just x. 176 divided by 44 there is going to give me 4. Remember, I can use my calculator for this as well. Any questions about 26? I'm going to pause for the calls, okay? I'm going to slide this up so you can see it. All right. I'm going to move to number 27. Okay. Let's look at the picture for 27. Slide my little computer out the way. 27 looks like this. With 27, we're looking at these two angles here. They're both in the bottom. For me, it's the bottom right corner. They're both in the bottom right corner. That means, since they're in similar positions where you have two parallel lines cut by transversal, they are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are equal. So that means this expression is equal to this expression. They are equal to each other. So I can say 6x is equal to this 5x plus 10. All right. So for 27, I have the angle 6x measurement is equal to that 5x plus 10. So now I want to solve for x. In order to solve for x here, I don't have distributive property. I don't have terms that I can combine on this side, nor can I combine these two. They're not like terms. So now I'm going to move the variables to the same side. That was my step number 3. Go back and look at your notes, okay? I'm going to move the 5x to this side because then x will be on the same side, okay? And I won't have as much to do if I move it over here. So to move this positive 5x, to move the whole thing over here, I'm going to subtract 5x. How do I know this is a positive? Because there's no sign in front of it. The opposite of a positive, or to get rid of a positive number or term, is to subtract the whole thing and put it over here. So now I have 6x minus 5x. That gives me 1x or just x. 5x minus 5x is 0, and I'm just left with 10. So that means x is equal to 10. Questions about that? Pause so you can write it. Okay, good folks. I'm going to do 28. Number 28, the diagram looks like this. This is the picture. Here we notice we have these. What was number 27? X is equal to 10. I'll show you the picture again. No problem. Slide back a little bit. Do you see it? Do you have it, or you want me to pause real quick? Okay. All right. Okay, so 28. The picture looks like this, okay? All right, these two angles are supplementary angles. These are supplementary, just like we did for 26 and 25. These angles are supplementary. That means I can take these two angles and add them together and set it equal to 180 degrees. That's what I'm going to do. That first angle is x plus 109. The second angle I'm going to add, put add. The second angle measurement is x plus 89. Both angles added together will give you 180 degrees. So what we're doing here is finding the value of x. That's what we're doing. We're finding the value of x. So we're going to solve this equation. So the first step to solving this equation is to look for distributive property. No distributive property here. Secondly, combine like terms on each side. So over here, I can combine this 1x plus 1x. That gives me 2x. Next, I can combine the 109 plus 89. When I add those together, that gives me 198. So I'm going to put plus 198. Bring down my equal sign. Bring down 180. Questions so far? Okay. Yes. Let's solve. So in order to solve here, we are going to get x by itself by first moving this 198. So I'm going to subtract 198 on both sides. When you subtract 198 on both sides, this is just going to give me 2x on this side. So I got 2x. Bring down my equal sign. And on this side, I'm going to get a negative 18. Any questions? Lastly, to isolate the variable, we're going to divide to get rid of this 2. You're dividing because 2 is attached to x by multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by a positive 2. And this is going to give me x is equal to a negative 9. Any questions about how I did number 28? I'm going to pause for the calls. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to set up day 4 problems. I'm going to show you how to set up day 4 problems, and then you're going to solve from there. Okay? All right, so number 19. When I look at this picture, looking at 19, to set this up, you have to know, look at the 2 angles that they give you measurements for. The measurement of this angle is 90. This is 90 degrees. How do I know that, Miss Reyes? Because there's a box here. The 2 angles are on the outside of the parallel lines. One's on the top, one's on the bottom, one's on the left, one's on the right. These are alternate exterior angles. If you forget the definition is in your notes. They are congruent. So you can set these 2 equal to each other. So that's going to be 90 is equal to this expression, 21x plus 6. And please don't forget to solve for x. Number 20. I'm going to set this up as well. Leave some space so that you can solve it here. Okay? 20. We're looking at these 2 angles in the diagram. Both of these angles are in the top left corner. For me, it's on the left. So since they're in the top, both in the top left corner, they are corresponding angles. They're in the same position where you have 2 parallel lines cut by transversal. These are corresponding. Corresponding angles are congruent, so you set them equal to each other. That is 75 is equal to 11x minus 2. They are corresponding, so set them equal. These are alternate exterior, set them equal. And solve for x. You don't get any credit for this page if you don't solve for x. 21. I'm going to leave space so that you can solve. Go back and solve. Look at these 2 angles. They're both on the inside. They're interior angles. One's on the left, one's on the right. One's on the top, one's on the bottom. They are alternate interior. Alternate interior angles are equal. They are congruent. So you can set these 2 measurements equal to each other. So again, we have 60, which is this angle right here, is equal to 8x minus 4. And you solve for x. Any questions about that one? 22. Leave some space so you can solve. Oops, sorry, y'all. 22. Look at these 2 angles right here. They're both on the inside of the parallel lines. One's on the top, one's on the bottom, one's on the left, one's on the right. They are alternate interior angles. That means they are congruent. So you set them equal to each other. So that's going to be x plus 139 is equal to 132. And you solve for x. 23. Leave some space. 23. Okay. Look at these 2 angles here. They're on the outside of those parallel lines cut by transversal. They're on the outside. One's on the top, one's on the bottom. One's on the left, one's on the right. These are alternate exterior angles. Go back and look at the definitions. That means they are congruent. So I'm going to set them equal to each other. That's -1 plus 14x equals 12x plus 17. And 24, I'm going to let you do that one completely on your own. Are there any questions about how to set up these problems on day 4? Okay, I'm going to stop my video.